Peace. Welcome to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Folks, we got a lot to talk about. First and foremost, let me share with you another poll about black voters has come out, and it's showing that more black voters are looking to support a third-party candidate. Folks, when I tell you which candidate it is, you might be truly surprised. We'll have that conversation. Also, we're talking about the big story out of Washington, D.C., as House Democrats put out a scathing report to show that President Trump, former President Donald Trump, received $7.8 million from foreign government while he was in office. Another hit against the president, and possibly will this be the one nail that knocks him out of the presidential campaign? We'll talk a little bit about that. Also, we're going to talk about Katt Williams breaking the internet and his explosive interview with Shannon Sharpe. We'll talk a little bit about that and so much more. So stay with us. It's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. All right, folks, welcome to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. And I cannot thank you enough for joining me this afternoon for another set of conversations, talking about everything that is that Black America is talking about, and more importantly, how it affects our culture. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're streaming on a number of different platforms and spaces. First and foremost, go to our home platform today at blackstarnetwork.com. Download the app for free. Follow us on social media, and we would love to connect with you as you will become a part of the Black Star family, the RMU family, the culture crew. You could just be a part of that. So make sure you go to our website today. We would truly appreciate your financial donations to continue to support us at this time. Now, we're also streaming on Amazon platforms. Check us out on Amazon News, on your Fire TV. We're also on Amazon Prime Video. You can find us under the Prime Video app under Live TV The News, or find us on Amazon.com under Prime Video Live TV The News. We're also on Freevee Network. Big shout out to Freevee for carrying us on now under News, and we're on Plex TV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can find us, search for Black Star Network, or find us under Live TV, The News, and Opinions. Now, we're on social media, of course, folks. So just go to Roland Martin's Facebook page. We're streaming live right there. We're also on the X platform, and we're also on, of course, on Roland Martin's YouTube page, and that's where you'll find us. So if you're a part of the culture crew, you got the crew on Facebook, got the crew on the X platform, and you got the crew on the YouTube page. And I'm looking at YouTube right now, and everybody is checking into the chat today. And I'm really excited. Pastor Damon Bassett, the ADX girl, Pauline Hurt. Who else we got on the chat? Deidre Hall, I see you. Tiana, I see you. Who else? Monkey Confessions, good to connect with you again, bro. Thank you so much. As you say, third party is the way to go. Tiana, third party is not going to succeed. Jamie P, thank you so much for checking in. Look like you're a new person in our chat. So thank you so much for checking in as we have these conversations. Again, folks, we're streaming live on Roland Martin's YouTube page, Roland Martin's Facebook page, and join us as part of the online culture crew. All right, let's talk about this first piece, which is about more black voters looking to support third-party candidates. This is coming out of news1.com, folks. And this is really based upon a report that is that has been conducted about third-party candidates. The report is the USA Today Suffolk University poll, and it shows that this is going to be an interesting race, to say the least, folks. This is going to be an interesting race, to say the least, that more black voters, and I'm saying more in terms of what we have seen in previous years, not in terms of more black voters are going to shift gears from the Democratic Party or even the Republican Party, but just more black voters than we have seen in previous years is showing that they're going to be supporting a third party candidate. Let me break down the numbers for you, and then y'all Y'all can make your own judgments, and more importantly, let's talk about this. Here's one of the things that it says in the report, and I thought this was pretty interesting. This is very interesting, but take a look at this. The findings in the USA Today Suffolk University poll are the latest evidence that fewer Black voters plan on supporting Biden's reelection efforts, giving a slight edge to Trump in the general election. According to the numbers from the poll, to be precise, the poll found that nearly 25% fewer Black voters plan to support Biden this year than they did in 2020. Wow. On the flip side, Trump has managed to maintain the 12% support among Black voters that he got in 2020, which the polling suggests could prove to be the difference in November. Wow. Y'all hear me on this one? That is huge. 25% of people are looking to possibly go a different direction in this election. Now, y'all want to hear something? Well, let's just do this. I'm gonna keep you on the edge of your seat, then I'm gonna share with you the third party vote, where that third party vote could possibly go. We're going to take a quick pause. When we come forward, we're going to have that part of the conversation. Join me in the discussion. Let me know what you think about this so far as we talk about Black voters looking to support a third party candidate. Some of us are saying it's not going to happen. It's not real. This is a protest vote. Some folks are saying, look, if we do this, then this allows Trump to be in. But considering where Trump is going and how Trump's life is happening right now, his life is lifing, folks. I don't know if it's a shoo-in, if it's a done deal that he's going to be the GOP presidential nominee. But look, let's talk about it on the other side. Stay with us. We're just getting started here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money make this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture. Weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punching!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. We've been wanted to kick off today's set of conversations, talking about another poll. Y'all know how I feel about polls. You know how I feel about them, but I think it's interesting. I know we don't listen to them. I know some people like, we can't give them much credibility, but I think it's interesting to see where we are. It's just a little check-in to see where folks are. And this one, I've just really kind of piqued my interest because it's talking about more Black voters looking to vote for a third-party candidate. Now, again, this, put it in proper context, this is talking about in previous years, not saying that Black folks completely said, all right, goodbye to the Democrats, and there's some of us that are part of the Republican Party say, oh, goodbye, Republican Party. It just simply means that the number of folks who are looking to vote for a third-party candidate has grown a little bit. Now, in a race as tight as this race could be, with President Biden, former President Donald Trump, who is assumed, I ain't trying to make a, what they say about being making an assumption, but it's assumed that he's going to be the GOP presidential nominee. With that, it's a tight race that could open the door. And folks say, a lot of political scientists and pollsters, they say if you shave off just enough of Black voters from voting Democrat, then you open the door for a Trump victory. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not completely convinced by that. I'm not convinced by that. That does not necessarily mean that Trump is going to get all these other votes, right? Because Trump's life is lifing right now. We'll talk about that in the next segment. But it does mean that, once again, y'all remember we had the conversation about Black America having to save democracy, right? Having to be the superheroes of democracy, right? We talked about that. This is probably another part of that conversation, because it's like, oh, now Black America has to shoulder the burden of putting this man into office, even though we're not a majority in the country. But we're such a necessary voting bloc for the Democrats that they have to look at us and say, okay, we need every vote, right? Because they believe that it's going to be a tight vote, a tight race and whatnot. So I get that. All right, so let me break down the numbers. Because as we talk about this, the one third-party candidate that people had talked about is somebody that you probably didn't even expect, y'all. According to this report, USA Today Suffolk University poll, it says, let's put up a quote too, please. At the same time, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., folks, the top polling third-party candidate, crew, can you believe that, is reportedly enjoying support among Black voters in battleground states at an unprecedented level. According to MSNBC, they reported that 28% of Black voters in battleground states plan to vote for Kennedy, while 50% of those same voters support Biden. 13% are expected to vote for Trump, recent polling shows. Nothing wrong with your computer. Nothing wrong with your screen. I'm letting this marinate. 28% of Black voters in battleground states plan to vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Not Dr. Cornel West. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Okay, I think I put enough out there for y'all to have a conversation with me and share your thoughts on this. Pastor Damon Blissett, you already getting started. Clown emojis. Clowns, huh? Hey, Brother Damon, you said clowns. Clowns. Monkey Confessions, you saying, nope, West is a better candidate. Kennedy is against reparations. Isn't this interesting? Look, this is why I have conversations about polls, because here you would think, as you say that, make that statement, Monkey Confessions, and I posted, I appreciate you for posting that. Here's what you would think is Like we're all on the same page about reparation. We're all on the same page about supporting each other. And look at that. Now, again, this is MSNBC. So of course, they're more liberal than a lot of other stations, a lot of other networks. But 28% in battleground states plan to vote for Kennedy over Dr. Cornel West in Black America. Wow. Wow. All right, let me hear what y'all got to say on this. The ABX girl. ABX girl, good to hear from you as always. You said, I will not tell voters to go third party, but are they ready for Trump? I fear, they are not ready. And when blacks need help, well, we know how that can turn out. Absolutely. Are we ready for that problem? Speaking of problem, Daydream 70, you checked in. Good to connect with you and welcome to the chat. Daydream 70, you said problem if we do not vote for Biden, then we sign our own demise. Trump wants to roll the clock back. Not a Biden fan, but Trump cannot get back in. It's about democracy this go around. I hear you. I hear you. Thank you so much, Daydream 70. Official Sanika, this is what you said. Third-party voters are not concerned with saving democracy. Wow. Okay, so that's where we are right now. Third-party voters are not concerned with saving democracy. Now, Official Sanika, I don't want to assume, because that would make me, you know what, an ass. But I do want to get some clarity as to what do you mean. Are you saying that if you vote for third-party candidates, that you don't care? Or if you vote for third-party, like, what are we saying here? I would love to get some clarity from you, bro. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you for posting that. Let me see this. And who else we got here? Real Brooklyn. My God, thank you for checking in as always. Knee-jerk reactions is the answer of late for political ailments. Ooh, knee-jerk reactions. Ooh, okay, I like that one. Okay. Thank you, Real Brooklyn. Pauline Hurt, you checked in and said Trump should be in jail. Well. Come on. That has nothing else needs to be said. Thank you, Pauline. Mike V, you checked in and said, if you split the vote with a third party vote for Farajii, you're essentially handing the election to the opposition of your interest. Mike V, I hear you. This is why I took that breath, Mike. When do we do something different? And I'm not saying it may be this election cycle, but I feel like every single election in America from this point forward is going to be significant. Do y'all feel that way? Every single election and I'm speaking of presidential election, every single presidential election in America from this point forward, it probably was even, further back from the time that maybe Obama got in office, President Obama, right? Like that we're going to see a different, like the stakes gets higher and higher since he's been in office. Does that make sense? Y'all vibe with me on that one? And so to your point, Mike V, I'm wondering when the stakes get higher and higher every single election, then how should Black America respond? That's what I'm wondering. And if we decide to, okay, we're going to kind of walk in step with the Democratic Party on this one, when do we break away, or are we saying that we don't ever break away, that we just reform the Democratic Party? Great point. I appreciate you so much, Mike, for posting that. Tiz, you said in response to Monkey Confession saying that RFK Jr. is against reparations, Tiz, you say they're all against reparations. And if we got to ask ourselves this question, I think this is a very valid question, then we're going to take another pause. Question is, how important is this, the reparations piece, the reparations agenda item, to us as voters? Do we die on that hill? I think I saw Brother Willie Frazier, Big Brother Willie, you said that one time, I think a couple of days ago. Do you die on that hill? I like that saying. Do you die on that hill? Because if the Democratic Party, whoever doesn't speak to reparations, but they got some other things that they could possibly do to help empower Black America. Do we die on that reparations hill? Brother Willie, you said, so Black people are going to support someone whose own family won't support him. Interesting. Battleground states. Battleground states. He probably has more money. He probably has better resources to get his message out there. He probably got some food. You got to think, Dr. Cornel West and others, they don't have that same level of that infrastructure and support. I know Dr. West, as I've been reading and keeping up on his campaign, he's been doing everything really grassroots, really direct action, kind of really playing off of the notoriety that he's already has as a scholar and author and being in those different spaces. So, I shared with y'all before that, his volunteer base is low and everything, but it's a grassroots effort. But he goes to state, city to city, town to town, and he does a grassroots effort. Yeah. Corinne, I was expecting you to come in, so I'm happy that you're in the chat. You said, Lord, have mercy. Yeah. You said, Corinna, per Michael and Hotep, big shout out to brother Michael. No, in big capital N-O, no third party has won a single electoral college vote since 1968. Here's the thing, and I'm going to take this pause. The thing is, do we get really, and I'm saying, because we might actually have folks that are part of this group in our families, they might be a part of our friends group. And here's what I would like to think. I don't think we should shame people for wanting to be different. Okay? Because if we get into that trick bag of shaming our own because they seek something different from a certain level of oppression or a certain level of injustice that we all have suffered from, then we're going to make ourselves look even sillier. So, I think for us in Black America, it's one thing to talk about this, outside of the community. But it's another thing when you have Black folks who really are tired of the two-party system, really are searching for some other alternative, some other way, who I truly believe essentially want to see America in a much more better place, and they want to see justice being rendered to our people. We shouldn't shame them just because it's not as popular in their decision making. If we tell people to go vote, then you can't say go vote and then vote this way. Because if they say, okay, I feel empowered as a voter, and they make a vote, then you don't agree with their voting decision, then we can't call them idiots. We can't say you're dumb. So we got to think about this. All right, I got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, let's continue to talk about this. And I'm going to share with you some of the latest issues with former President Donald Trump. Stay with me, folks. We still got a lot to cover in this first half of the culture here on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to PO Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is roland@rolandsmartin.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you folks so much for tuning in. And I cannot stop laughing and looking at the chat on YouTube. If you're part of the YouTube culture crew, man, oh man, y'all are putting out some real, wow. This thing's got a couple of y'all kind of burning. Corinna, calm down. Don't cuss early in the morning. In the afternoon. Come on. Don't do that. But Corinna, you're posting a lot of stuff about this. You are posting a lot of stuff. Okay, let me just share what Corinna had to say. Corinna Denise, y'all know she joins me on Friday afternoons here. And she's posting a lot of stuff about this. Corinna said, this is a waste of our damn time. And unless we intentionally want to self-sabotage our humanity, this is not politics as usual. There is no alternative. And furthermore, a large majority of those folks do not comprehend politics. All right. And you said, Farajii, you said no shaming, Farajii, just facts. Yeah, we're not going to shame anybody because it's not good for the culture for us to shame, right? Okay, so we're talking facts. We're talking about, so essentially, let me make sure I understand you right, Corinna. Essentially, we're telling people, go ahead, register to vote. If you haven't registered already, vote Democrat. Is that what we're saying at this point? Because when we bring up these parts of the discussion, it becomes this whole thing. And it's like people just don't know how serious it is. People don't understand politics and all of that. So we're essentially just saying, Black people, vote, get registered to vote and vote Democrat. Okay, maybe it's me. Maybe it's my understanding of what y'all are saying, but that's what I'm hearing. Benny Hill, you said yes until further notice, Farajii. Until further notice. All right, so look, how about this? I wonder, and this is all due real. This is a serious concern and thought, and I'm going to share it with you. If former President Trump, is not, for whatever reason, eligible, able, qualified, or whatever the case may be, if he doesn't run, and say if it's one of the other Republican candidates against Biden, are the consequences or are the implications of the election has the same level of severity? Y'all understand what I'm asking? If Trump is out of the picture, then would we go so hard to make sure that people understand how important this situation is, how high the stakes are? Because I feel like maybe it's the Trump factor. And I also feel like maybe Trump won't actually make it to see in terms of being on the ballot and really being a major consideration. I could see him possibly being a write-in candidate. We already hear about the number of states that are trying to remove him from their ballots, right? And they're doing it quick and fast. But he might have one of the highest write-in candidacies in the history of the country. I don't know. But if it's not Trump, and say if it's DeSantis, or say it's Nikki Haley, would we still say that the consequences, the stakes are high and the consequences are dire if a member of the GOP gets in office? All right, I want you to think about that and share your thoughts. Now, I'm gonna share with you with what's going on with former President Donald Trump, because this came out, I don't know if y'all seen it, but according to a new House Democrat report, they're showing that former President Donald Trump received $7.8 million from foreign governments while he was president of the United States. I'm going to say that again. House Democrats found and got the receipts to show that former President Donald Trump received $7.8 million from foreign governments while he was president. This happened 2 out of the 4 years that he was in office. Let me share with you the latest from NBC News. Take a look at this, folks. He received the $7.8 million in payments from foreign governments during 2 of his 4 years in the White House, according to the report released today by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. 20 foreign governments made the payments to Trump's businesses during the 2-year period that the committee was able to review. The information in the report was first reported by the New York Times and CNN. Now, let's go to quote number 2, please, Lise. Thank you. Representative Jamie Raskin, the Democrat of Maryland, the ranking member of the Oversight Committee, he wrote in the report's foreword that the payments came from, quote, some of the world's most unsavory regimes, with China being the leading spender, paying more than $5.5 million to Trump-owned properties, according to the report. Some of the other countries that made payment to Trump included Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, India, and Afghanistan, according to the report. Raskin said in the report that the information demonstrates that Trump violated the Constitution's foreign emoluments clause, which he said prohibits the president from accepting money, payments, or gift of any kind, whatever, from foreign governments and monarchs unless he obtains the consent of the Congress to do so. Is this the nail that will put Trump in the coffin and no longer keep him in the picture in the conversation about presidency of the United States? Is this the one? He's gotten money from foreign governments while he was president. Even though that money came through his business, it was still connected to him. $7.8 million receipts can be found. This is not make believe. This is not the witch hunt. This is what's happening. You are not a victim. You checked in. Good to connect with you once again. You said the Democrats, the Dems will come up with anything at this point. LOL. You don't like my music. You checked in and said capitalism prefers corruption to zealotry because rational people can be bought. Whew. That's rough. That's rough. So he's got this situation going. And while he is, now this comes out. My question is, this man is still eligible to run for office? This is what's happening. Now, you know, this news goes all around the world, right? CNN reported, New York Times reported, NBC reported. This news goes all around the world. And I'm wondering, I really wonder for the GOP leadership, this is the hill you gonna die on? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So back to my original question. If Trump wasn't the one being considered as the GOP presidential nominee, would we still be pushing as hard for Black folks to vote Democrat in this upcoming election? If Trump was out the picture, if it was Nikki Haley, it was Ron DeSantis, the governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, if it was any other candidate, do you think that this effort would have less heat? Do you think that's the case? And if so, if Trump is taken out of the picture because this new situation came up, so now the GOP's got to say something. The Democrats got to do something, right? You can't just allow that to just go under the rug. The American people know at this point. So if he's not in the picture, then is this the election that we start to really have much deeper, less emotional, and more visionary conversations about third-party candidacy or third-party or a third party? Is this the election? I'm trying to figure it out, y'all. I don't have all the answers. That's why we have this space to do that, to have these conversations. And I'm looking at the chat. And we'll see who I see from Facebook. Musa Moses Balone. Musa Moses, you said this is why a president must resign from their private business when they take office. Absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot, as part of the Constitution, as Mr. Raskin said, this is a violation of the Constitution. You can't get money as your president of the United States. It's just that you got to either put your situation on hold. Now, remember, when he did get in office, I remember this, there was a story, and there were a number of stories saying that he would allow situations to I guess he put the business under the direction or the management or something, the supervision for his children, Ivanka, or somebody in his family while he was president. I guess he didn't do that. Let me see who else we got here. Carolyn Harrison, you said these things were known a long time when he purchased the DC old post office. That was a shady transaction too. Now, Big Brother Willie, you said if it was Ron DeSantis, other than Trump being the guy for the GOP, you said I would still say it's detrimental to Black people based on what he's done in Florida. That's okay. But what's happening in Florida can't be, you're not going to bring those same politics to the rest of the country, though. But I see your point, though, that DeSantis, as much as his candidacy might be troublesome and going through all types of issues, the fact is he's a governor. He understands the levers of power in states and the national and federal government. So he understands this way more than Trump can understand this stuff. So to your point, he might be a problem. Nikki Haley might be a problem because these folks have already served on the state side. Now they're going into the federal side. They've done some work. Nikki Haley, of course, done some work on the federal side. So the knowledge is the part. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge is the part. It's like what we saw with Dick Cheney and George Bush Jr. Y'all remember them? Dick Cheney, he knew how the government worked, though he knew how to get certain things done that was in alignment with the agenda that George Bush and him laid out. He was a very behind the scenes type of guy. He wasn't the guy out front. You didn't see him move, but he knew how to get things done. George Bush was that guy, but the brains behind the operation was Dick Cheney. All right, I got to take another quick pause. When we come back, let's continue to chat about this. Stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punching. I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to the culture here on the Black Star Network. As we wrap up this part of the conversation about former President Donald Trump, once again in hot water as the House Democrats have put out a report to say that the former president received at least $7.8 million in payments from foreign governments during 2 of his 4 years in the White House. And this is according to a report that was released by the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. They got the receipts, folks. 20 foreign governments made the payments to President Trump businesses during the 2-year period based on what the committee was able to review. And according to Representative Jamie Raskin, the ranking member of the Oversight Committee, he made the point saying that some of these payments came from what he describes as some of the world's most unsavory regimes. I guess Trump is like, America says they're unsavory. I say, bring them on. Birds of a feather. Do y'all think really President Trump is going to be checking folks on their record of doing well? This government, they want $1 million. Oh, we can't do business with this government because they don't treat their people well. That's not happening, folks. That's not happening. President Trump is like, whatever. His money is money. Let's go. But the problem is, according to Representative Raskin, he says that the Constitution has a foreign emoluments clause, which said that presidents are prohibited from accepting money payments of gift of any kind from foreign governments and monarchs unless he obtains the consent of the Congress to do so. Trump ain't get no consent from no Congress during that time to get money for his business. Oh, you know that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. All right. Let me get a couple of more comments in very quickly. Then we're going to switch gears a little. We're going to switch gears on this. Cindy D, you checked in. Good connecting with you once again, Cindy. You said, I wouldn't put nothing past Trump. Nothing. Cindy, nothing. Nothing. Benny Hill, you said there's so many opinions and ideas out here, but it doesn't seem like the Dems want to share ideas. The Found Brandy, thank you so much, man, for posting that. The Found Empress, you said, well, when will we step up for us? It ain't never the right time as long as we okay As it ain't never the right time as long as we're okay with the lesser evil. Woo. Ooh. Ooh. I wanna just hold that one right there. Just hold space for the thought. Because the found empress, I think that's a great point. When do we say enough is enough? When? White liberals often talked to Dr. King and told him that he was moving too fast when he was calling for everything for stopping world wars, stopping the war, relieving the doing something to bring some relief to the poor of this country, whether they were black or white, pushing voting rights. It was white liberals who Dr. King had to go back and forth with, had a contentious relationship with, because they were always telling him it ain't the right time. When do we say enough is enough? Let me take a couple more and then we're going to switch gears here. So if we're looking at this, and Kevin Boyd, you said old habits die hard. Whew. Whew. Ain't that the truth, Kevin? Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Old habits die hard. And look, check this out. I got like a minute and I'm going to say this. It's okay if we are all kind of nervous and even afraid, right? I was listening to Katt Williams' interview. And Katt talked about a portion of his life and he talked about fear. He said every human being goes through fear, right? And it's okay. We all experience fear. Even when it's trying to do the right thing, there's still a certain level of fear that creeps into your mind, your heart, and your spirit, because you don't know what's going to come on the other side of that stance, of that truthful stance that you take. It's going to be some fear, just a little, maybe not. It doesn't overtake you. It doesn't overpower you. It doesn't stop you, but there's going to be some uncertainty. Let's just say that. It may not be fear, but maybe some great uncertainty. Like, I don't know how this is going to land. But guess what takes over? Your commitment to truth, right? Your commitment to this idea that we can't keep going along to get along. Your commitment to stop getting out of this cycle of insanity, thinking that we're doing the same thing, expecting different results, and going into a different level of thinking around this. Again, folks, this is not to say that we should or should not, which way to go. I want us to really think through and consider all options here. But I'm going back to this point, and then we're going to wrap this up. If Trump is out of the picture, and Big Brother Willie, I remember you mentioning this, that DeSantis is just as dangerous and problematic for Black America as Trump was, probably even more so because he understands the levers of power. But if he's out of the picture, is this the election that we want to start to flex our political muscle on? If Trump is out of the picture, because I feel like the Trump factor is such a big factor with people. So when do we flex our political muscle? I'm going back to what my sister said, the Empress, she talks about. What goes back to that? So I want us to just think about those things. We're seeing what's going on with President Trump, $7.8 million. It's going to be interesting to see how the Democrats and Republicans respond to this. But he's becoming more and more of a liability to the GOP each and every day. And there's no way in the world I can see, this is only January 4th. Can you imagine how much we're going to have to endure with this guy until Election Day on November? Please. It's a lot. It's a lot. So we will see. Let's continue to have the conversation about it. Look, I got to take another quick pause. When we come forward, let's switch gears. We're going to be checking in with our new contributor, Trinette Collier, that she's going to talk to us a little bit about this Katt Williams interview that's gotten the internet going crazy. I'm going to share my thoughts with you about it. She's going to share her thoughts. I want to get your take on it. Also, let's talk about how this person who worked at Burger King for 27 years, working at Burger King, has finally bought a home through a GoFundMe, and why this story is not, in my opinion, inspirational. Stay with me. The conversation continues right here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is roland@rolandsmartin.com.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punching! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Oh, man, the first half of the show is phenomenal as we talk to a little politics as we do, talking about everything from third-party black voters possibly looking to shave or to kind of ease away from the Democratic Party to put their support behind a third-party candidate, i.e. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in battleground states, according to some recent polls. So that's an interesting conversation. And we talked about the big breaking news out of D.C., which shows that former President Donald Trump actually was able to earn $7.8 million from 20 foreign governments to his businesses while he was in office for 2 years, from 2 out of the 4 years. And so the pickle that this man continues to be in continues to grow. But now, so make sure y'all do your due diligence. You can check us out on Team Replay and hear what we have to say about that. Now, let's switch gears as we are streaming live on our Black Star Network platform. We're also on Amazon News, Amazon Fire TV. You can find us also on Amazon Prime Video, and you could definitely find us there on the app under Live TV, the news, or find us on Amazon.com under Prime Video, Live TV, and News. You can find us on Freevee right now. We're on now under News, and we're on Plex TV 24 hours, 7 days a week. Black Star Network. You can find us there, or find us on the live TV, the news and opinions. And of course, we're on social media under Roland Martin's Facebook page, Roland Martin's YouTube page. So big shout out to the Culture Crew on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page, and on the X platform. We truly appreciate having you a part of the conversation. There we go. All right, let me check in with my sister now. She's the one going to be one of the new voices here on The Culture, and we're always happy to have her joining us. She serves as a coach. She works with relationships, and she has done a fantastic job so far in bringing her insight and opinions to the matter. We saw her last week on the show talking about Simone Biles' husband. What's his name, Trinette?
You know what?
I don't even remember the dude's name.
Jonathan Owens.
Jonathan Owens. All right, then, congratulations. But today, we're bringing you in. You seem to be jumping right in on the big cultural moments of Black America. Katt Williams sat down with Shannon Sharpe for Club Shay Shay. Now, look, the funny part is I've been following Shannon for some time.
Yeah.
So I like him and Ocho Cinco. They have the thing called The Nightcap. They got their little wild ass podcast.
Yeah.
The Nightcap. So they talk about some wild stuff with it. Funny as hell. And of course, we saw Shannon on Fox Sports and all of the things that he's done.
Right.
But he's sitting down with power players. He sat down with the likes of Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Tabitha, Emmy Award-winning TV personality Tabitha Brown. My daughter loves her show. So on YouTube, so that all of that. But he sat down with Katt Williams. He posted, I remember him posting maybe a couple of days ago when he said, look, I've done a lot of interviews, but this one y'all don't want to miss. Ooh. And it did not disappoint. Over a 24, I saw this and I was keeping track of the numbers here, Trinette.
Yeah.
Over a 23-hour, going into a 24-hour period. On YouTube alone, the views were up to like 5.3 million views of this interview.
Yes.
5.3 million views within the first 24 hours. That's on YouTube. So I gotta check on other spaces.
Right.
But that's on YouTube. And I know people who said they watched this thing, a 2-hour interview, twice.
Yeah, I only did it once. I can't do that
twice. So you got 4 hours to kill. I need 2 hours. I need those same people to give me 2 hours.
Right. Exactly. I was like, woo.
I need those 2 hours. Anyway. Yeah. So let's break this thing down because I was trying to really figure out. So I was listening to Katt.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think to myself, like, why is this particular interview creating such a buzz? I mean, it's all on my timeline and everything. It's talking about it. But I'm like, what is it? Is it because the fact that here's a multi-talented, multi-award-winning comedian who's deciding to break the ice or come out of whatever, space that he's in? Because he travels a lot. He works all the time.
Right.
We know Katt Williams over the years. We've heard the headlines. And he wanted to set the record straight on a lot of things, especially about the relationships that he has and the behind the scenes stories. And I'm wondering to myself, is it one of those type of situations we just want to get more fodder, hear more dirt on some of Black America's most celebrated people? It's hard to even say funny because Katt was like, none of these people are funny in real life. I was like, damn.
He was bold to say that. I was like, ooh. I'm like, oh, wow. You know what? Everybody keeps saying that 2024 was going to be the year of exposure, right?
Right. And that's a great point.
Seems like what's been happening. All of these people, these celebrities have been exposed or they're being exposed. And I think it's just, as I stated before, I think we don't know these celebrities, right? We know them with their brand and we've come to love these people and, we like them and we just think the world of them. But the truth is we don't know these people off screen, behind the scenes, So when you have someone like Katt Williams, and remember even Dave and a couple of other people back, they would say little things And what do we deem them as? Oh, they just hating, or they crazy, or this, that, and the other. And a lot of times it's the truth. We just don't want to hear the truth because we have this special relationship with celebrities, So I think that's what happened.
And I think that happens in a very, like, I don't know. I don't want to say messy. Did we lose him?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making sure we didn't lose you. I don't want to say messy, but it certainly is something that is interesting. Look, I'm going to take a quick pause. When we come back, let's continue our conversation with my sister, Trinette Collier-Green, as we talk about this. And this is really, as much as this is about Katt Williams and whatnot, there's a negative, I think, folks, that we can all glean from this about relationships. There's a nugget in this about how we go and about using our lives. And we're going to talk to the coach Trinette about this. So stay with us. Still a lot more to cover here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture. Weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
When you go into a barbershop in a 700 credit score neighborhood, black or white, they're talking about their ideas and they're talking about how they're going to move on those things. You go to a barbershop at a 500 credit score, equal brilliance, but bad culture, they're talking about other people. You go to a winner's barbershop, here's what I'm doing. You go to the barbershop of where people feel defeated, they're talking about other people, either celebrities or people they admire, but also often, I don't like Joe. I don't like Roland Martin. Let me tell you something. I don't understand people. How could you not like anything here you see? You should just be like, this is amazing. It's cool. You may not even like how he does it or how I do it, but it's like, you know what? They're succeeding. They're killing it. All you should be is, that's fantastic. But if I don't like me, I'm not gonna like you. If I don't feel good about me, it's hard for me to feel good about you. If I don't respect me, don't expect me to respect you. If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. And here's the big one. If I don't have a purpose in my life, I'm gonna make your life a living hell.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. We're talking about how Katt Williams has officially broken the internet. With his explosive interview with Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe for Club Shay Shay, Shannon's show. And it has opened the door for us to have some different conversation and even get different perspectives on Black comedy, folks. And I think this is the thing that has gotten Black America really talking, is that what we have seen coming from our Black comics. Now, Black comedy has grossed millions upon millions of dollars. Some of the top comedic voices of not just the country of this time are Black men, and very little Black women, more Black men. So we're talking about the likes of Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Kevin Hart. I mean, these men generate a lot of money. For whatever they drop a special. We know Dave Chappelle just dropped his Netflix special on New Year's Eve. That special generates a lot of money. You're talking about Kevin Hart and Chris Rock. They did a special together. It's generating a lot of money when they go on tours. Now, one of the highest grossing comedians in the game is actually Jerry Seinfeld, who has done work as he did his residency in Las Vegas, and he continues to do his work on the road and with other gigs. But Black comedy has gone to another level with new heights. Now, with the likes of Katt Williams, who always brings some edge, some truthfulness, and some controversy to the game, it's not surprising that he had this explosive interview with Shannon Sharpe. I want to share with you, I want to kind of get to a couple of your takes on this, because I feel like the interview, the conversation that he had was headed in parts, right? There was part of Katt's opening up about his relationship with some of Black comedy's top talent. You're talking about Steve Harvey. You're talking about Kevin Hart. You're talking about Cedric the Entertainer. You're talking about Ricky Smiley and his relationship. And it's pretty clear that he's on the outside of that group, not because of his talent, not because of money, but because of his views on how he sees the role that he plays in the comedy world and in the entertainment space versus the roles that they see. And really spilled the tea, folks. Really, really spilled the tea. So I want to kind of get your take, and I'm checking in with my sister Trinette Collier as she talks about, and she's our relationship specialist, but she's also here to talk about looking at this, because this is rooted in relationship. Like when he started the conversation, he kicked it off, started talking about Ricky Smiley.
Yeah.
And the relationship. So I'm wondering, this is 2024. One of the things that Katt often was, emphasized is that this is the time of truth. I love how he said this is the era of truth.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about truth telling can be very sloppy if you're doing it in public.
Remember we talking at, listen, I don't know what happened. I apologize that they must have heard me talking about them, but I was going to say some good stuff about Katt. I don't know. My internet ain't went out all day, but as we were talking over, remember the holiday break, and remember I said sometimes those truths, they're not going to be favorable. They're not going to be like, it's not going to be popular. And sometimes you have to tell the truth. And in order for you to continue that relationship or rectify that relationship, make peace with whatever relationship you have that you're telling the truth about, and I think this is just something from listening to his interview and really looking at his demeanor. Now, I'm no expert. I'm just saying, looking at him, this is something that's been in his heart for the years. And he even said it, like, I sat back and I absorbed it. I watched and I took notes from everybody, right? And so it was just like he was putting it in his bag, and he just couldn't wait, because again, we never know what these other men, how they treated him, because he may have been like the outcast, and they do have a circle from the likes of it, from what you see over the years. They do have this circle, and he didn't fit. So it's like they probably pushed him to the side, and he just sat back and like, okay. And again, we don't know these people. We just know them from, you know, the way they make us laugh and how they make us feel, and, you know, the laughter side, but we don't know them from behind the scenes. We
And
just
how
don't.
important, and Trinette, and I'm glad that you made that point, because how important is that? You know what I'm saying? For us to know that. And you know, and I feel like, you know, in 2024, this kicks it off, right? In one space that, we saw a little bit of this, and there's been like a growing sentiment around Black America redefining, or really asking questions about our relationship with our Black celebrities, right? I remember doing a segment just a couple of days ago talking about Oprah, Tyler Perry, P. Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like how we see these individuals.
Yeah.
And so now we're looking at the comedy space, and this is not like a scandal, quote unquote. This is talking about human beings relating to other human beings, right?
Yeah.
But it for me, what I saw was that how people change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how people change. Now, this is Katt's side of the story. When Cedric was on Club Shay Shay just a few weeks ago, he didn't speak about Katt Williams. He didn't go into details like about this stuff, right?
No.
But my point is that what we're seeing right now is this, like, there is this change in how Black people are moving in white spaces, especially when you're talking about the entertainment space.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the thing I think we need to kind of key in on, is that even though you might be successful, even though you get all this praise, you might get a lot of money, it still doesn't take you away from who you are.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's all about building those connections too. I remember Samuel L. Jackson and Denzel Washington. They were talking about, I think the question was asked to them, how do they stay out of trouble or something like that? This was an interview a long time ago. And they both were like, go home and have, you know, have you a solid friendship, like relationships with the people that you love and so forth. And so basically what I was gathering from those statements were like, nobody's your friend, you know, unless you have built that solid relationship. And that seems to be the problem. Well, I don't know if it's a problem, because everybody's not your friend and everybody's not going to be your friend. But you would think in that industry that you would, you know, work together, you would team up and so forth. And it could still be that crab mentality, you know, that, you know, I'm going to get with this circle and we're going to build this circle, which is fine in a sense, you know, because we all have our circles and we want to push each other. However, I would think like a band of brothers, you know, especially being in that space, that they would, you know, pull together. But again, like you said, that we just know his side because the others didn't come out about it. I know that Ricky Smiley gave a statement today on his show or whatnot. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but we don't know. I just know that I feel personally that he's not making it up. It may be some exaggerated truth in there. I don't know. I just don't know. But I feel like he's telling the truth on a lot of this. Like he came out gut wrenching, punching. He went for the gut. And I don't think anybody expected that.
Here's I want to take a quick pause. When we come forward, I want us to talk about this idea. And this has been brewing based on the previous conversation we had about Black celebrities, Trinette.
Yeah.
But the idea that more and more, day after day, we're finding out that Hollywood, as glittery, as shiny as Hollywood is, the glitter is starting to fade more and more, right?
Yeah.
And that is the other thing. You know, when we had a conversation about Claudine Gay being ousted from Harvard University, and I think it was one of our crew members, Big Brother Willie Frazier, made this point saying that should we continue to advocate for Black people to be in these spaces, knowing that there's a possibility you can get kicked out, that knowing that there's this possibility that that you will be either changed or you will be forced to be an advocate for someone else's agenda.
Yeah.
And That's what I'm seeing here. Because when he talks about like Kevin Hart, for example, talking about the scripts he turned down versus the scripts that Kevin picked up.
Yeah.
The reasons that he turned things down only for Kevin to do later on. You know what I'm saying? It's like this glitter from Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? And should we keep advocating to ourselves or to our children to go into this direction, right?
Right.
And so I think we should have a conversation about that as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversations with Trinette. Plus, I got another story I need to share with y'all as well. So folks, join us in the conversation. You can post your comments on our chat as we're streaming live on Roland Martin's Facebook page and Roland Martin's YouTube page. And I would love to hear what you got to say. Stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Joined by my sister, Trinette Collier-Green. Trinette is going to be one of our new contributors, and she talks about everything from how to live your best life to relationships. And we got her here talking about Katt Williams today, y'all. We got her here talking about Katt Williams. Ooh. That's right. We got to talk about Katt Williams. Because here's why. One is that it's the big hot topic in Black America today. And then, of course, simply understanding the dynamics and the many different complexities of what we saw in that interview that Katt did with Shannon Sharpe. And what I saw was a man who seemed to come to peace with himself, but he had to speak his truth because he felt like, I guess he had to feel like he got enough dirt on his name.
Yeah.
He had enough dirt on his name. Everything from being a drug user to just being out of his, correct mental state. I mean, he made mention of these allegations during the course of the talk. He took the thing that I always find to be interesting is a person's upbringing, and hearing his upbringing, his story of growing up in a home of Jehovah's Witnesses and then venturing out at the age of 13 and living life. I mean, this speaks volumes about the person that we see today. And it, as he said, it laid the foundation for the person that we see today. But the one thing that really struck me, Trinette, is the fact about Hollywood and how, we're in a hyper, and my sister Corinna said this, that the celebrity culture is so high right now. Ooh, the adulation, the time that we spend talking about Black celebrities, and I'm talking about for Black America.
Yeah.
And we play, y'all see the commercial that we got for rolling, when the brother's saying, look, when you're in certain spaces, you don't talk about other people's business, but when you around, some of us may got friends and family members, that's all they want to talk about. Oh my God, you hear what happened to Diddy. Oh my God, you hear what happened to this person or that person, and that's all they talk about. They just completely enmeshed into that stuff, right?
Yeah. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy relationship that we, that we have with celebrities. Like,
let me throw this out there very quickly. I'm so happy you used that term. This is why I love the crew, because the crew said this. Who said this in the crew? I think it was Mr. Michael D. Shell. Michael, I hope I'm not mispronouncing your last name correctly, but Michael D. from Facebook, he said, we do not have a relationship with he put this in quotes, celebrities any more than any other race.
Really? When you think about it, we like the gossip and the tea. Like we want to know what's going on in their personal relationship. Even when they put it out there themselves, like it's that bad where they are actually putting their relationships out there on the internet and knowing that everyone is going to put their 2 cents in. But there have been times I've watched people argue over in the comments about these celebrities. And I remember asking, how many of y'all really know these people? Like, when is the last time y'all went out to lunch with these people? And when you watch the internet and you see the comments and we're fussing and fighting over celebrities, something is wrong.
What does that say to you, though, from that? When you say something, what does that say to you? If we're fussing and fighting over people that
we ain't minding our business. We got to, you got that much time to focus on somebody that, first of all, they getting paid. I don't know about anybody else. They getting paid for their clicks and their likes and all of that kind of stuff. So we have all of this time that we're giving to these people for no reason. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure what the correct term is, but we do have this fascination with, and don't get me wrong, sometimes you want to know what your favorite celebrity is doing or whatnot, but the amount of time that we spend on, like, literally with them all day, and then we like to see the fall and the demise of these celebrities too. That is becoming, I see that everybody is like on edge trying to see what is happening. For me personally, I'm praying for everyone, because again, there are other people, they have children, they have other family members that are affected by their decisions, and that's being exposed. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even though you're probably saying, well, you know what, he needs to go down or she needs to be exposed, this, that, and the other. we still have to have some type of human compassion and think about their families and their children, their loved ones that's going through this as well. You know, I know that we're sitting back, and a lot of, you know, some of these celebrities, it's time for them to sit down. It really is, because you know they've been doing some dirty stuff back in the day. It's going to come, but I always say what happened in the dark, it's going to come to light. And this is probably just that season where a lot of the celebrities like, ooh, okay, let me think about what I did. What did I do? They pulling out their notebooks and trying to figure out what they did back in 19.
Right. And I think the other part of it is that if we're not focused on our lives, individuals, we're not focused on, because the big problem is we're pushing the next generation to be like these individuals. And I'm not saying these are terrible human beings. Folks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that's the culture. That's part of our culture as Black people in America right now. Like we want look, Instagram, Facebook, social media is built on this very idea and premise that you are a superstar.
Yes.
You can present yourself as a celebrity. You can go show pictures of the finest restaurants you go to, the swankiest vacations you can go on, the nicest cars you can drive, right? Like this is how ingrained celebrity culture really has gotten. And it's and the part that concerns me the most is that we're getting further and further away from being authentic. We're getting further and further away from being accepting of who people are, right? And one of the things that my therapists have said to me, I'm gonna be transparent on this one. She said, Farajii, and I'm sure some other therapists may have said the same thing. She said, my job is to make sure that I bring all of the compartmentalized parts of you together to make you whole again.
Yes. And you have a lot of broken people out here who live their lives through celebrities and through the internet. And that is the sad part, because when reality really hits, when we're spending 4 and 5 hours watching or listening to these celebrities or whatnot, but your rent is due and you ain't worked, or you're not making a living or whatnot, they're getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in their world, but the reality is you're not in their world, because you're over here, they're over there. And it's a certain different type of level status in a sense. And we don't know the difference now. And it's very scary, because we are training up the next generation to be like, hey, be like them or do like that. One thing I admire about my parents always taught us not to idolize celebrities. I grew up in LA, right? So we were always around, celebrities or whatnot. And I remember my dad, he almost smacked me in the back of my head. He was like, don't you do it. Like I was starstruck, right? I like celebrities, right?
Who did you see that he got that upset with you about?
I can't, because the spirits, my dad, them spirits would come in and be like, you know what I tell you? But this is when I was a child and whatnot. And I was like, I didn't understand that, but I understood as I got older, because if you don't set a boundary, if you don't teach your children, like, hey, they're human beings just like you. They put on their pants and shirt just like you. However, they're doing their job. That's a job for them. And so you have to create this balance with your children, because a lot of, especially our young people, oh my goodness, everybody wants to go viral. Everyone wants to be a superstar, but nobody's telling them there comes a lifestyle with being viral, comes a lifestyle. There's a lifestyle that comes with in this territory, and nobody is telling them that. So when they get to these celebrity status, and they're, like you said earlier, they're not accepted, or now they're having a problem. Well, it's like you were chasing what you saw and didn't know the behind.
That's heavy. That's heavy. That is really, really heavy. Doretha Smith checking in from Facebook. You said, Doretha, if we are only following celebrities and fighting on Facebook about them, but don't have a savings account, kids out of control, something is wrong.
Something is, listen.
She said, Doretha said something is wrong. We fighting over Trinette, we fighting over somebody else's bank account. No, they ain't get that amount of money. You know they got paid. Man, they got 12 million. Not 12 million. We fighting over Farajii P. Henson's bank account.
That's what I was trying to tell folks. I'm like, listen, y'all. Listen. Y'all are clicking and liking, and y'all are not understanding there's a method behind all of this. There's a strategy that's going on. These managers, they know what they're doing. Like, it's all part of that promotion deal and all of that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? And we're wasting our time. We're wasting time. But again, when you have a good relationship with yourself, you're going to understand the value of your time. You're going to understand, like, hey, you know what? Okay, I have 5 minutes I may not even have 5 minutes to listen to that or whatnot, but I don't have 4 and 5 hours to waste on anybody else's life like that. I'm not going to do it. But unfortunately, there are how many viewers you said? 5 point.
I mean, that's right. That was like a few hours ago. So you're probably talking about nearly 6 million views, or 6 million views plus within the past day.
That's a lot of views.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot.
That's only, like I said, that's only on YouTube. So it could be in other spaces, but you got to think about the retweets, the shares, and all of that. Other stuff like that is a lot of people. Right. But the thing is, I mean, he was definitely about everything from spiritual matters to talking about the truth and all of those things. But at the end of the day, my concern, and this is what Brian said, Brian Christian, you said we as the Black community consume the most media out of every other group because we're the trendsetters on what's cool or not, which means a lot of people to most, which means a lot to most people.
Yeah.
And that's the space that they're in. Like, we want to get into the know, and we want to be in these people's lives so bad. And I'm thinking, and I got to take a quick pause on this, Trinette, but my concern is that we're getting so immersed in somebody else's life because we really don't want to live our own.
We don't.
Or don't know how to live our own.
We don't want to.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm coming across people. I'm talking about in their 30s and 40s who have no sense of purpose and don't know why they are made and created, or don't know what talents and skills that the God blessed them with. And so therefore, and I get it. I'm not saying that, look, trust me, I get it. Like, you like somebody, you like their brand as you put it out there. You like their brand, you feel like you're building a relationship with them or whatever the case may be. And I'm not coming down that hard, but I do want us to think, to put things in proper perspective and context. Branding. It's a science, folks, and trust me, I worked in marketing and public relations. You can take somebody who is an ass in real life and make them seem likable in the public. You see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a strategy, and it goes back to the self-love. You have to. It
comes down to self-love.
Yeah, you have
Absolutely.
Have to.
Absolutely. All right, we got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, let's continue to have the conversation. Let's talk a little bit about this other story. Stay with me. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair. Take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Hey, Black, I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Let me bring my sister Trinette back into the conversation. Trinette, thank you so much for joining us as we have this. I want to switch gears from talking about celebrity culture to talking about real life. And in the final few minutes, I thought this story, for some reason, is being presented as inspirational, but I think it's further from that. I'm sorry.
You giving it the side eye? You giving it a thumbs down on it?
It's not. To me, it's not inspirational.
You know what? I keep replaying that moment.
To me, this is not inspirational. Here's the story, folks. Let me just share this with you. So back in 2022, in June of 2022, a gentleman by a brother named Kevin Ford, he posted a video on TikTok in which he shared that he had been working for Burger King for 27 years, folks. I want you to hear me out. Kevin Ford worked for Burger King. That's his brother, Kevin Ford. He worked for Burger King for 27 years. And as a reward for his service at Burger King of 27 years, his reward was a movie ticket, a Starbucks cup, a bag of Reese's Pieces, 2 packs of Lifesavers, 2 pens, a lanyard, and 2 keychains after 27 years of work at Burger King. He posted this video on TikTok from June 2022. After the video went viral, with many people criticizing the gifts, which is a justified criticism, which I thought is absolutely BS. Right. After 27 years, you giving me candy and keychains and shit.
Right. His
daughter launched a GoFundMe campaign which raised nearly $440,000 as of Tuesday afternoon. And as a result of that, of thousands of donations, he was able to use a portion of the donations to buy his first home, which is good.
Okay.
So on December the 29th, this past December 29th, he showed all of those who supported him a glimpse of the property. He thanked them for making the purchase possible. He said, I know it's not a mansion, but it's mine. He said, I want to thank everyone all around the world for what you've done for me.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the part about that is not inspirational. This man is still working at Burger King.
Oh.
Nothing wrong with that. But
so he didn't retire?
He didn't retire. I mean, he didn't retire for $440,000.
So they brought him back. Listen.
He's still working at Burger King, right? He still gotta work.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Now it's
And look, and see, here's the thing. His daughter says he originally began working at this job as a single father when he gained custody of me and my older sister 27 years ago. Then, as our family grew, he remarried. He continued to work there because of the amazing health insurance that was provided through this employer because it was unionized. That got all 4 of his daughters through high school and college with full health care coverage. So that's good.
Right.
My dad continues to work there because though he does not look young, he is coming up on retirement age and leaving would cost him his retirement.
Oh.
In no way are we asking for money or is he expecting any money, but if anyone feels like blessing him, he would love to visit his grandchildren. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
After 27 years, he didn't even have enough money to buy himself a home.
And so he had to take that money out of the donations to buy his own home.
His daughter, if the daughter wouldn't have set up a GoFundMe,
right,
he would not have gotten the money to get, he wouldn't have gotten a home.
Yeah. Did anybody ever come forward and make a statement about that? Like at least the gift part, like that was an insult. When I read that, when I first heard of it, it was an insult to my soul. Like I was like, oh wow, this is what you think of me after 27 years. 27 years.
20. Look. Come on, Trinette. Let's put this in proper perspective. How many of our parents put in 30 years in other spaces, right? I mean, this is not a shade on this brother. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is not. But I'm just going to show you. But please don't make this, to me, this is not inspirational.
Yeah.
This is not inspirational. The man could not make enough money to put a down payment on his home while working 27 years for a corporation. And so if he's working because of the healthcare and thinking about retirement.
Right. That says a lot for the franchise, for the company. That means they really don't value their employees. Like you cannot, if you have to sit there and first of all, just the thought. So that means nobody from corporate. Now I could be wrong. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but even they didn't look at who's been there longest, and for them to send this gift or not even, that wasn't even a gift basket. What was that? Like, so you didn't even get this person stock? Did he even get stock? Or
according to reports, no stock. There's no stock.
Oh wow!
You see what I'm saying? Now again, he put his daughters through college. He provided the lifestyle that he was. He's a good dad. It sounds like he's a phenomenal dad.
Yeah.
So big shout out for him. But my point is settling.
Yeah. Settling.
You see what I'm saying? And again, this story is being presented as inspirational. And it's not to me, because if the daughter didn't have the presence of mind to create a GoFundMe, then would this brother and his family be living in a home? Would he be even having a home? And it just goes to show you that as much as we try to give ourselves, I mean, and I'm just talking, this is not just because he's a black man, but just in terms of Americans, like people work, I don't care what nobody say. The quote unquote poor, low income people are the hardest working people in this country. And you want to know why they're the hardest working people? Because they know that they're in low income, and and those folks do every single thing they can try to do to try to make it through. And companies just, for lack of a better word, crap on it.
We do.
27 years, and you're going to give me some damn candy and some damn keychain and a damn Starbucks cup that this costs $4 that I could buy on my own, but you can't give me enough money in raises or in wages for me to afford a home on my own. I got to go outside of my own income to get a home and provide a better life for myself. That's a damn shame.
But you know what that goes back to, Farajii? We got to learn how to value ourselves. That goes back to loving yourselves, having that relationship. Because when you value yourself, you're going to have the guts to stand up to, because they don't value us. They don't. And that's something I had to learn too when I worked. companies don't value you. So you have to take it upon yourself to make sure you know your worth and to say, hey, and not to say it with him because he was doing his job, but you have, for those who are, and when we start complaining about being on a job, you got to know your self-worth. You got to, because you just don't have that time and the energy to give these companies like that. And if they don't value you, nah, we're not going to do that. That was the insult.
Absolutely. Benny Hill, you said, where was this? Depending on the location, he was making less than 30K for a quarter decade, but still paid for more than one college degree. Gregory Harris, you say, God bless that brother for a man, but no surprise that Burger King would give that the crap that they gave him as a gift for somebody. Right, Gregory? Right, Benny?
Wow.
Jamie P., you said measuring a person's value based on their chosen work is meaningless. Measuring a person's value based on their chosen work is meaningless. Do you agree with that?
I don't know.
That's an interesting point, Jamie.
It is. It's interesting, but
and it gets back to, and I get it, like his daughter said, and as we wrap up, I get it that he had to make that decision to work for Burger King because he was at the beginning of those years, but to stay there, and I get it, like, I mean, I get his healthcare, insurance and stuff, but I've had a lot of jobs, Trinette. Listen. And listen, here's what I think. I don't know if they didn't say this in the reports, but I don't know if Brother Kevin decided, hey, you know what? I can work at Burger King, but go back to school. Let me up my skills. Let me start working on building a different future for myself, because it's sad. And I mean, my heart breaks a little bit for this brother just because you're stuck.
That's it.
You're stuck. You see what I'm saying? And when you're stuck, how do you get out of that place? Like it's like I don't even want to use the term because I know some people might take offense to it. But how many of us know I mean, Trinette, we know people who have gone to school for fantastic roles, different professions. They want to be chefs. They wanted to do this. They wanted to do that. But then they get they get out of school. They realize how serious and real life can be. And they take a job. And instead of pursuing their dreams, they decide to go the path of least resistance and say, well, I'm working at, don't get mad at me, y'all, but this is how some folks, I'm making good benefits at the post office.
Yeah.
So why should, I could be manager one day. I could be, and this is not no shade on anybody, but I'm saying that we all have so many good dreams. And I know this is a big question I'm gonna pose to you, Jeanette, but how do you tap into that to make sure that you don't lose sight of the bigger picture of the dreams that you set for yourself when you were a child, the dreams you set for yourself when you were in school, and not get into a space of settling down just because it's convenient?
Real quick, as I stated, you have to know your self-worth, your self-love. That goes back to having that relationship with yourself, because when you put it in place and when you have that plan and that vision, you got to have a vision for your life. And that means when you have that vision for your life, you're going to work towards that vision. And you're going to make it happen. And you're going to look at everything, not just the benefits, not just the salary. You're going to look at the long-term effects of it. You're going to look at how it's going to affect you and your family. You understand? So you have to really put yourself first in these, positions and understand that you matter. You come first. And your decisions are, they're going to be based off how you feel about yourself.
There it is. There it is. Congratulations to Brother Kevin, Mr. Brother Kevin Ford. I'm going to get in your home. I congratulate the daughter for having the presence of mind, because I don't know. Again, this is how my little mind starts working. Like, I wonder if Brother Kevin ever thought did he say to his daughter, hey, damn, I wish we had a house? Or did she was like, my daddy need a house?
Good question.
Because if she thought of that and he didn't think of that, then that's a different conversation, right? Because sometimes you can put yourself in a circumstance and then you close out of your mind the possibility of something new, something different, and possibly something better. But you close it out because your circumstances are so limited.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to stop right there, Trinette. Trinette, where can people find you? Coach Trinette, the relationship specialist, where can people find you?
All social media, I am Trinette L. Collier.
There it is right there. Trinette Collier joining us on Thursdays here on The Culture. Trinette, I thank you so much for your insight and your brilliance. And God willing, we'll talk next week.
Yes, we will. Bye.
All right, folks. Folks, that's going to do it for us. I thank each and every one of you for being a part of the conversation today. Make sure you do your due diligence. Go to our website today at blackstarnetwork.com. Download the app for free. Follow us on social media at Black Star Network and put a little something in the pot. It's the beginning of the year. We would love to get your support early in the first quarter of the year. And if your support can help sustain us in this digital space, so go to our website today at blackstarnetwork.com. Big shout out to my production team for making the show possible. And more importantly, thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned. Up next is Roland Martin Unfiltered on 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Big shout out to the crew on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Thank you so much for checking in and being part of the conversations. God willing, we'll talk tomorrow. As always, never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. I look forward to chatting with you one more time this week, tomorrow, for another exciting edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Peace.